If you had to describe the perfect Minecraft base, what would you say? Does it need to be big, compact, asymmetrical? Does it need to be functional or just look really cool? I'll be checking out some of the best Minecraft bases, in my opinion, talking about what I think constitutes a great base, then showing my current base in my own single player world. If you don't mind, please click the like button, commenting on something you liked, and if you like the sound of my voice or laughing at it, subscribe to continue doing so. So what does constitute a perfect base? Well, obviously this is subjective. What I think is a great base might not be what you think is, and vice versa. There are so many ways to establish what you would call a base in Minecraft that it's hard to even indicate a single grounding factor among opinions. I could say everyone can agree a base needs a solid structure. Well, you could argue you don't even need a structure. It could be made up of different platforms and areas with no structure, just a perimeter marked off for mobs. What I look for in a great base is symmetrical and concise placement of storage and farms, and a cool looking structure. Some kind of huge structure that's towering, menacing, and unnecessarily big, with a centralized storage, easy way around the base, and accessible farms that connect to the main storage. So this is my base on my single player world, Voluminum. I call it a base, this whole general area a base. I'll leave a link to the series below if you're curious about my process of building this. My inspiration was actually a Tetrahedron. I think it's a really interesting looking shape, so I had help shaping it up in Minecraft from another creator, Firigion. He made a video showing how to make this shape if you want to check it out. I just used World Edit to double it up and flip it over to make this huge diamond shape. I've got various farms connected to it on the outside and somewhat in the ground, so it's sort of an exterior slash in the ground type base. I would say mostly exterior. And you've got an in portal down there at the bottom that it connects to, and all the farms in the area do connect up to the main storage. I've downloaded the Hermitcraft Season 6 map, one of my favorite seasons. So take this base for example by Mumbo Jumbo. It's more or less symmetrical, mostly above ground with a huge mega structure. You've got a centralized storage and there's some nice aesthetic around the base as well. There's also farms surrounding it on the outside. Thing is, it's kind of inconvenient when you need certain things from your storage because it's so spread out. It's not an efficient layout for a storage. You've only got one item filter next to the other repeating. Not to mention this is pretty hard to scale for future updates when so many items are being added with each one. But it is a great base. You step back and take a look, it's pretty awe-inspiring, I think. Very uniform and something I'd be proud to call a base. Not far away is Exuma's base, this one being a lot more menacing looking with an interesting shape. Definitely more of an in-game base. I suppose all the ones I'll mention are because you aren't really going for a base like this without being in that in-game after the dragon type state. But this base is really unique in its architecture. Not only that, but it's actually kind of built in a guardian temple, so there's a guardian farm happening while you're here. He opted for a multi-item sorter for his centralized storage, and has expanded a bit in the back with the amount of bulk you get with things like this. Now this might be my favorite base on this server. This is actually the Hermitcraft Season 5 world. It's got aesthetic, it's got farms, it's huge, and it's symmetrical. This checks off all the boxes in my book for the perfect Minecraft base. With that said, efficiency doesn't always mean better. Back on the Season 6 world, Iscal85 has built a base that's spread out on top of this island, and various farms are placed in different locations, and they're not necessarily linked up in any way. But you go here to run a specific farm or gather a certain resource, and you can do it. And not far off the island is another farm as well. So there's no mega structure here, but many smaller ones laid out across the island, and I think it's wonderful. So I've made a few small graphs here just to kind of show what I'm talking about in more detail. I know how uneven all this looks, so just cut me some slack. Here you've got the all-in-one base, as I like to call it. It's all encapsulated inside this one structure that may be all the way in the ground or even come out a little bit, but every farm is inside of it all, connected to the main storage. You know, you could even throw in a little farm there, maybe one over here. This, I think, is probably my favorite kind of base. The efficiency of everything being within reasonable distance. If you need to go directly to the farm or storage, it's all there. The downside though, being it's not too much to look at. If your in-game base is the ultimate goal you're working towards, but it's just a hole in the ground, it's kind of hard to show off in certain respects. That's where the other design that I love comes in. So this one is similar in layout, much like Mumbo Jumbo's Season 6 base. It has a big structure in the middle containing your main storage, and all the farms are exterior, but are connected to the storage. This is basically what I went for in my own base design as well, and I think it captures both the efficiency of farms not far off, but outside enough to require some building for aesthetic, something to show off. So now as we get to the point of all of this, I'd like to show a sketch by a creator I admire a lot. Has been working like a madman, Andre. He's been working on his hardcore single player world for about 6 months now. The amount of hours and work he's put into this is just impressive. This sketch, however, he made for his main mega base project to work on, and it pains me to say this is much better than what I did with MS Paint. Let's not talk about it. But this has got it all. A centralized main storage, huge farms surrounding it, and they're all interconnected. This base though isn't just in the ground or a structure on top. He's made a perimeter for each point of the base, and I think ultimately it will all be a giant perimeter. This kind of thing is what inspires me to play Minecraft, honestly. These lofty goals that could take years to accomplish even, but the end product is all worthwhile. So that's it. Have we figured out how to create the perfect Minecraft base? Well, yes and no. Depends how you look at it. Your perfect Minecraft base might not look anything like the ones I've shown here today, and honestly, I would love to see it. So let me know what you think the perfect Minecraft base needs. Does one even exist? I really appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen. Please do like the video if you did. Comment to let me know your thoughts or suggestions, and I'll see you next time.